The question is, does Article 121 Clause 1A solve the conflicts of civil and Sharia court jurisdiction on interfaith child custody dispute? Firstly, what is the Article 121 Clause 1A? Article 121 Clause 1A is a constitutional provision that prevents the civil court from interfering with the jurisdiction of the Sharia court. Before 1988, the affairs of Sharia court were constantly interrupted by civil court. What has been decided in the Sharia court is easily tampered with by the civil court. This actually interferes with the affair of Muslims because Muslims have the right and obligation to be punished in the Sharia court. Figures such as the late Tan Sri Ahmad Ibrahim had long worked to ensure that the affairs of Sharia court were independent and uninterrupted by the civil court, and only in 1988 Provision 1A was included. Sharia court began to have independence after 31 years of Malaysia independence. Article 121 Clause 1A now provides that the civil court shall have no jurisdiction in respect of any matter within the jurisdiction of Sharia court. The general jurisdiction of the Sharia court is expressly provided for in the Federal Constitution under Article 74 Clause 2 and List 2 of the Ninth Schedule. So, for the question, does Article 121 Clause 1A solve the conflict of civil and Sharia court jurisdiction on interfaith child custody dispute? My answer is no, because although the amendment to Article 121 Clause 1A has been implemented, the conflicts of civil and Sharia court jurisdiction on interfaith child custody dispute is still occur. For example, in the case of Indra Susito 1986, the Civil High Court has been firm which state that the conversion to Islam for a girl aged 17 years and 8 months was illegal because Article 12 Clause 3 and Clause 4 prescribe a person who is under 18 years of age of his religion will be determined by his or her parent or guardian, even though the Sharia court has confirmed her Islam. Similarly, in the case of Indira Gandhi versus Padmanabhan in 2015, Ipoh High Court has taken the approach that the civil court can make relevant decisions with custody of the child in the case of conversion to Islam by the husband by granting the right child custody to the wife who is still a Hindu. Although a decision has been made by the Sharia court, but it was decided that the civil court was still in favor that it has the right to change the decision of the Sharia court. However, this case was ratified by the Court of Appeal with reversing the exclusive jurisdiction of the Sharia court. Furthermore, the conflicts between Sharia and civil is not only in this interfaith child custody dispute. There are many more problems and cases that challenge the jurisdiction of the Sharia court. For example, the sodomy cases. Sodomy cases can still be brought to civil court although there are provisions for such case in jurisdiction of Sharia court. For example, in the case of Iki Putra bin Mubarak versus Kerajaan Negeri Selangor and another. In the conclusion, after the revision of Article 121 Clause 1A, the conflict of power between the civil and Sharia court should be resolved. This constitutional change is intended to permanently remove all concerns arising from the civil court interfering in the Sharia court. That matter involving Muslims should be prosecuted only in Sharia court, with no involvement from civil court. When this exclusive jurisdiction is actually exercised, it will lead to the beginning of the glorious era of the Sharia court in Malaysia.